What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome to Fresh Comic Stories. Guys, this is the channel that we basically sit down and cover different kinds of comic book stories. Now, guys, today we're going to jump back over to Marvel, and we're going to cover Marvel Presents Weapon X. Now, this storyline right here is the actual original story of Wolverine going through the Weapon X process. Now, this story was recommended by one of my subscribers, and so you know what? I say let's sit down and cover this storyline. Now, in this video right here, we are only covering the first half. Next week, we'll cover the second half. But guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories like this in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, let's dive into Weapon X Part 1. The story starts off with the comic book panels of each page following two men as they go on with their daily lives. One of the men we know is Logan, aka Wolverine. And while he's just trying to live a normal life, going around town, drinking, and whatever else he does in his normal life, while Logan is doing that, the other man is Truett Hudson, a professor who is going around recruiting different people for some kind of experiment. The first man he picks up is Abraham Cornelius, another scientist, to help him with a project called Weapon X. We also see him pick a lady as well, and her name is Carol Hines. We jump forward a couple hours where we pick up with two new scenes going on at the same time like earlier, where we see that Logan is outside his house trying to enjoy a peaceful night. But while he is trying to enjoy a peaceful night, that is when he gets jumped by a bunch of men. These men are trying to kidnap him, and we learn that this part is taking place in the past. In the present day, we see that Hudson, Cornelius, and Hines have already begun the process of Weapon X. Of course, they are working on Wolverine in the present day, and he is Weapon X. We then jump over to the Weapon X building as they begin the process on Wolverine, the adamantium process, where his bones will be laced with this metal. And while they are beginning the process on Wolverine, they realize something about him, that all of his wounds have healed. These are the wounds that he had received from the night before from being kidnapped. They have magically healed up. And this leads to Hudson realizing that Wolverine is a mutant, the mutant ability to heal. And this leaves Hudson leaving and going to his own personal office to make a phone call. And we see that Hudson is not the mastermind behind all of this, that someone hired him to work on the Weapon X project. The question is who and why. But we come to find out that Hudson is asking the person why he was not told about the fact that Wolverine is a mutant with the healing factor. And while he is on the phone, we see everyone else continuing the experiment in the lab below. But everyone is watching the process from different computers. And that is when Logan wakes up and begins to feel the pain of the process in his hands. And so they sent in a random scientist in there to check up on him. But that is when it reveals that Wolverine has claws now inside of his hands. And this leads to Cornelius going down to the testing room with the two guards to check on the scientist and Wolverine, only to find out that Wolverine had killed the innocent man. And this leads to Wolverine leading on to attacking Dr. Cornelius and the two guards that are with him. And where it does look like he is going to end up killing them as well in the process, except he doesn't. Only because at the very last second, we see that Wolverine had passed out. With the whole testing process and other things going on throughout the last couple of days, his body could not take it anymore, and he passed out right in front of them. And this leads on to Hudson talking to Cornelius about what Wolverine truly is, which of course is a mutant. Where Cornelius never heard of what a mutant is until this moment right here. While you have the two of them talking about what Wolverine truly is, that's when you have Wolverine trying to get out of his binds and hoping to finally be free. And when he is able to break out of his binds, of course, he sees Hudson and Cornelius and tries to attack them. Except that is when you have Hudson hit Wolverine with a high intense level of flames. And the pain was so much that Wolverine was knocked out once again. And this leads us a few moments later, where we see Hudson, Cornelius, and Hines working on Wolverine once again. Except this time, they are working on a way to control Wolverine's mind. And this leads to a device being made where Hudson cannot just give direct instructions. The way they will be controlling Wolverine would be giving him suggestions on what he wants to do with a certain objective. On the computer screen, they'll be able to get an image on what Wolverine will be thinking about. And this leads to them trying to get the mind control program going. Except when they turn on the machine, the computers get overloaded. And this leads to the computer screen giving them a look at Wolverine is currently thinking about at this current moment. And this is where they get these horrible images coming from Wolverine, where it shows what he thinks he looks like, but also how much pain he is currently in right now, and how he hates what they have done to him, and how much he wants to get back at them for what they have done to him. And where it does lead to Wolverine actually getting up and grabbing Hines by the neck, where it does seem like that Wolverine is going to kill her right there. Luckily, at the very last moment, you have some guards walk in and shoot Wolverine with some tranquilizers to knock him out, which of course, it does knock him out and saves Hines' life at the very last second. And this leaves Hudson freaking out and actually considering the idea of killing Wolverine off because he almost killed everyone in the room. Of course, Cornelius stops him from doing that, but then we see at the very last second for the day, we see one more thing on the computer screen coming from Wolverine's mind. Of course, it is an image of Wolverine killing Hudson and leaving him bloody on the ground. And this leads us over to the next test for Wolverine, seeing how he will use his new claws that were added into his body. Of course, the test is not him using his claws on humans. No, instead it is him using his claws on wolves. This is the Weapon X crew seeing how much of a killer Wolverine can truly be, where at first he does not even bother to defend himself. He let the wolves begin to feast on his body until the last second he finally reacts, where we see Wolverine just tear up the wolves left and right, leaving a bloody mess. But this shows how much of a killer he truly can be, with him killing all of the wolves they have sent out. And you have the Weapon X crew shut him down and bring him in for their next test. And the next thing they are trying to do is install all the different tech they need to be able to control Wolverine completely. Not just the mind, but the body as well. And where they are able to control how he moves and when he will pop the claws out. Which of course, we see that their goal of controlling Wolverine is coming together for them. And they are able to make his body move the way they want to and pop a claw like they want to. Wolverine is fully under their control here, and now they are a step closer to getting what they want. Their perfect weapon is almost done. This leads into another test for them where they are able to connect all of the different equipment they need to keep Wolverine under their control. Their next test is them trying to see how Wolverine does with the bear, a bigger and more powerful predator. And where of course they watch how Wolverine works against this animal. And this leads to Wolverine being able to cut the bear's head off completely, a clean cut. After Wolverine was able to do that to the bear, it leads to them shutting down Wolverine to bring him back in, where we see that Hudson thinks the next test should be against a bunch of humans. We then jump over to some of the other staff members working on getting the equipment off Wolverine, where we see Hudson, Cornelius, and Hines discussing what their next move should be with Wolverine in a completely different room, where we see the worst thing that could happen for them. As soon as some of the other staff members of the Weapon X program is able to remove the tech off of him, something big happens, where we see Wolverine kills one of the tech members just in a matter of seconds. And this leads to, of course, to the Weapon X crew seeing him on the screen, which now their worst fear has come to reality. Wolverine is now free and on the move. And this is where we are going to end today's video. And so guys, in the next video, we will cover the second half of this storyline. But please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories like this in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'm out of here, and I will see y'all in the next comic book video. Later, guys.